I would be, and she would have these shirts and skirt, and I was always fine. She knew that I would never, if she got Connie shirts and fabric, she would be looking at that like, and so they didn't want that face. I was always like, thank you. And I usually had all that fabric cut up and put on my Barbies at some point because she rarely got around to making those skirts. But I was not demanding in that way. So it's like buying me things, you don't have to buy me anything. But what I like to do is I'm terrible at calling people back or being on the phone or whatever. But if you need me to show up and help you plan a party, oh, I'm your girl. I'm all in it. I'm hanging stuff up. I'm getting on top of ladders. I'm up and down. I'm making whatever you want me to make. If we need to put setting up the table and getting food together I'm your girl. I'm all over that. But being the person that needs to be given great things, like because I'm a doll collector, I'm a Barbie. If he buys me a Barbie more than he gets, that is fine by me. Like I mean, I say I have a huge and love it. So it's like I'm not demanding in that way, but what I do like is time. I like you to be in the room with me. I like us, and you don't have to take me anywhere fancy. And so he's learned how to, because he was a, I mean, he has two sisters, but there's only three of them, and he's the only boy. So he's used to being by himself. When he comes and gets with our family, and all of us sitting on top of each other, screaming, hollering, laughing, and needing
You
to be
got me for
together,
about 30 minutes.
and then he's sitting there, he's like, and then all of a sudden we see that Isaac has retreated to some room, gone, and because he's not used to that. He's not used to all of the.
I'll stay around if I know it bothers somebody in there, which takes a lot sometimes. But I care more about people's feelings and things like that.
Because
So I
I'm
will
like, is
stay
something
around.
wrong? Is he
Yeah.
mad? Is he okay? I'm like, no, he's just not. All the peopling that's happening in this room,
I don't
he
need it
is
to.
own stuff. There wasn't a whole lot that he had to share because he didn't have like a little brother that was coming in and getting in his things. He didn't have that.
And when we came around family, we were together, but every 24/7, which
Oh, okay, she's coming.
Connie
She's
has
coming to
defend
defend. This is my.
We had mom and dad and my grandmother. You had mom and dad's room with the baby. You had granny's room. Then you had the kids' bunk beds room. We were always together.
Yes.
Always, always.
Mhm.
And so I think that even in my relationship with my husband, so I'm the oldest of six, so I'm bossy. I also marched on the front line in the military, so I'm very demanding. And my husband is an only child.
Yee.
That is a deadly combination. So, all right, and he's used to quiet, and just like Isaac, the very first time he saw us in action, he was gone. He was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know what. I've never seen this kind of bonding." So, yeah, like even my three brothers, they had their own set of bunk beds. Every night we woke up, they're all in the same bed. We were always together,
And they could start out in separate beds.
and by the end of the night, we were all together. So I think that came from that close space, and so even in our marriage, my language is time, quality time. I can't. So I need to hear some noise from somewhere. I can't when it's too quiet. At first, it used to drive me absolutely crazy. So back when we first got married, that's when AT&T and they would track the minutes that you talked on the phone. He quickly learned to become my friend and talk to me. But anyways, just to say, I think it's important that you know each other's love language. And for me, I had to learn to respect that my husband needed space and time. He needed time just to step back, find, and he claims he doesn't think or anything. That's his space and time. So I had to learn how to respect that. So that's my
and
descent.
most of
Amen.
yeah,
Thank you. That was
amen.
beautiful.
And most of the issues that we think we have are not really issues at all. It's not understanding each other's love languages. And it's little symptoms. All you're doing is trying to address the symptoms that you have. instead of the real underlying issues of
That's
a
good.
thing, or understanding each other's traits or habits. Colossians 3:12. Since God chose you to be the holy, must clothe yourselves with tenderhearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Make allowance for, bearing graciously with, each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Above all, clothe yourself with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. We have to work to understand each other's love languages and understand what Christ expects from each of us individually and together.
And it takes you willing to humble yourself. A lot of times when you have to give according to someone else's love language, it requires sacrifice on your part. It requires for you to give up how you want to do things and do it the way the person needs you to do it. Because we can love in a way that's easy for us. The truth of the matter is that it's easier for him to buy me something than it is for him to spend time with me. So he has to be intentional about spending time with me. And so I know he maybe doesn't say this, but he does like, one of his love languages is words of affirmation. He likes to hear me say to him that I think he's doing a good job. I'm proud of you. You're doing well. And for me, as a kid, like I said, one of six, everybody just did their jobs. You had a job to do, you just did it. And you were a part of a system. And so you didn't hear a lot of, oh, you did great. There was like, did you pull your weight? And that's it. And so I'm learning that he loves encouragement, and that it's important that I give that to him. It's important that I let him know when I think that he's done a good job, when I'm proud of him. If I know that if I start using tear down language, tear down words, well, you always this, accusatory language, that is where he is going to shut off. And so even in conflict, I have to end your bond. There was another question that came in, and do you want to read that question? Yeah, you can go ahead.
Says, my wife always says, happy wife, happy life. Is that a good thing in marriage or no? Because what about the husband? Said, is that a good thing or no? What about the husband?
I think it's better to say that a happy couple, happy life.
We said it last week.
Yes.
There's not, if the husband is winning, you're both losing. If the wife is winning, you're both losing. Because
yeah.
I figure it goes back to the love and respect thing in was that Galatians?
Mm-hmm.
If a wife is respecting her husband the way the word says, if a husband is loving his wife the way the word says, they both will be happy. You'll have joy. Yeah. Once he makes you happy, you'll have the joy of the Lord in your relationship.
I want you to get on the mic
Come on to the mic.
because what you're
Come on up to the mic.
we got to let the people online hear your commentary, because see, you done
Come
stepped
on up.
into it. Come on, Sister Audrey, come on. Okay, what were you saying?
Okay, I just like to.
She didn't get, now she's shy. Now she's shy. She was doing a lot of talking over here. Now she done got real timid.
Come on.
I just like to give fun. No, but I was just giving fun. But for real though, I'm just saying. Once, if I'm happy and things are going well with me, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make, whether it be my son, because if my son mess over me,
That we are